All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Daniel Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock. Very good. Brock, of course, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Brock, and they have therapy services as well there at Brock. Go check out our people over at Brock. They are our people. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning, folks. Let's see. Got NFL owners meetings going on in Scottsdale right now. Apparently, no rule proposal to change what happened with the NFC Championship game. We can get into that. Gayle Benson, total boss. How about Gayle Benson saying, I am not going to sell the Pelicans ever? Stop asking. I kind of love her a little bit. I have a feeling today on the Ride podcast, Terrio may have something to say about that. So maybe y'all should be tuned into that at noon today. LSU baseball back on the diamond tonight against McNeese. And more arm injuries. Talk about all that today. So what y'all got? Good morning, Matthew Rogelio. Good morning from Airline Highway traffic. Matthew, just make sure you're listening and not watching if you're in traffic there on Airline Highway. Justin Reyes, hit the share button this Morgan. Yes, please, this Morgan. Hit the share button. Thank you. I'm going to do that right now. Thank you for the reminder. I'll hit the share button. I would encourage all of you to hit the share as well. Of course, there's people who watch this on YouTube after, so they have no idea what we're talking about that. But what you could do if you're watching on YouTube, not live, is you could take this YouTube link and share it on all your social media platforms. That would be helpful. Or you could leave a comment or anything like that. All that stuff. Bob Kubrick, Stephen Foyle. Good morning, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. Nathan DeMoss, what's up? Josh Long, what's up? Scone, my man. Charlie Cavell, good morning, Charlie. James Tyrone, Scone in Nashville. Indeed. What's up, Dad? Good morning, Chuck Sanchez. Good morning, everybody. Alvino. Good morning, Matt. On my way to an 80-pound weight loss. Wish me luck. Good on you, man. Good on you, Alvino. I love it, man. You know what? The hardest thing in my opinion, hardest thing when it comes to losing weight is literally taking the first step to saying, you know what? I have this weight I want to lose. I'm going to do something about it. Like, that's the hardest thing, is getting out of that spot of being complacent and just getting used to what you're looking at in the mirror. It's tough. And I think, a lot of people struggle with that. It doesn't have to be 80 pounds. It can be 10 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever. But it's, man, I wish I had my elementary school yearbook here. I don't. They're at my parents' house. I can show y'all, dude. Lil Matt was a fat kid, man. I mean, I struggled with weight my whole life. And I got a little extra weight I carry around now still, but ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. But good on you, Alvino. Keep encouraging you, man. You can do it. Let's see. Hey, Megan, good morning. Hey, Jay Holland, don't be like Dick Vitale. Brady Beacom, what's up? Dusty Revere, Sean Pumphrey, Shelby Kelly, Stephen Beach, Irfan, Gumoggan, Matt and Drew. Good morning. Can you say good morning to everybody? Bless you. Alexander's. Hey, can you say good morning to everybody? Alexander's. You didn't say good morning. Oh, well, you all didn't get a good Morgan. Sorry. Gumoggan. You did get an Alexander's, though. Hey, Drew. Can you say good morning? Nope. Sorry. No Gumoggan for all of you today. Let's see. Brian Wynn, good morning. How would you have handled Dickie V talking over you? That's from Daniel Brumley there. Interesting question, Daniel. So, listen, to be very clear, I don't think that there's a right or a wrong, okay? I think, as far as how to do an interview, it's all, what type of conversation that you want to convey. Sweet. If you want to be, as the host, if you want a confrontational interview, then you can go down that path, and you can be, combative with that. What? Are you gonna see Miss Sarah today? Are you gonna see Hey, where are you gonna see Miss Sarah and Catherine? Where are they? Are they at? Well, okay. No, listen. Yes, you. Okay, so listen. Mimi is gonna come over, and Mimi is gonna take you to Abilities, and you will see Miss Aubrey and Miss Sarah and Margaret and Catherine. And then after Abilities, where's Mimi gonna take you today? Okay. Nope. Don't have to answer. Don't have to answer. Hey. Nope. I take that back. You don't have to ever leave Abilities. You can stay there forever. So that was a weird reaction. So anyway, Daniel, to your question. I would, and I want to reiterate, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think what they did yesterday was incredibly compelling. I mean, I tweeted yesterday, one of the first things I ever learned in talk radio is that passion drives the medium. If you're not passionate about the things you're discussing, why would your audience care? If you don't care about it, why would your audience care, right? So, that was loaded with passion on both sides. And whatever side you fall, if you agree or disagree with Dick or with Jordy and T-Bob or whatever, the undeniable truth is that both sides were extremely passionate about their ideologies, and they weren't going to budge, but both argued their sides passionately. That, with their style yesterday, was... I'm trying to think of a way to say this, because I don't want it to sound negative, because it's not. I thought it was great. It was more interrogation than interview. Maybe not conversation, which is perfectly fine. But I think Dick came out of the gates swinging. Before they even asked a question, he was rip-roaring. And I think that made them elevate their intensity. And then you had both sides at this fever pitch for 20 minutes. I think you can disarm a guest with your tone and the manner in which you ask questions. And I thought every question they asked was fair. I thought their prep was perfect. I thought they did great. I really do. I mean, but when as a host you start elevating your voice along with your guest, then it's like two people in an argument where typically the one that keeps their cool and stays more even keel, is the one who appears more in control. That's all. But again, I don't want that at all, and I'm only saying it because you asked the question. In no way do I want that to come across critical, because I thought they did awesome. I mean, it achieved exactly what end it was supposed to. Everybody picked it up. All the local news sites picked it up. Jordy was on Channel 2. So the big lead at USA Today picked it up. The Barstool Sports guys did a YouTube video where they talked about it as well. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, that's your goal when you sit in that chair every day, is you want to do something compelling and interesting that people want to talk about. And it was great. So again, I don't want to say I would have done it this way. Like the way you asked the question, I don't want to say I would have done it this way. It's just everybody has a different style. That's all. Let's see. Kyle Larison, what's up? Tyler Hales, what's holding up the Jared Cook deal? It could very well be that they're at the owners' meetings. The NFL meetings right now in Scottsdale. I mean, it literally could be that they're going to wait till they're back from that till everybody's back in New Orleans and sign the paperwork. I mean, it literally could be something like just logistical like that. Nathan DeMoss headed the shady side down that way to work, buddy. Cool. Chuck Sanchez, wonder if Dickie V is listening to the tape of his interview. He was defensive to a fault. Yeah, I mean, you can tell he was not prepared for the level of preparation that they had put into the interview. When they read the transcript from Merle Code about all the programs that are involved, and Dick's reply is, you're gonna trust a convicted felon? Well, yeah, the guy at the center of all this, who's been convicted of conspiratorial behavior with all these schools and his funnel payments to players, and yeah, actually I am. They read the transcript of the Kansas assistant on the text messages with Zion's father, the payment plan, and Dick didn't really have an answer for that other than, oh, come on. Why are you obsessed with Bill Self? Why are you obsessed with Kansas? Well, it's not that there's an obsession with Bill Self or Kansas. It's why aren't you criticizing them to the degree you're criticizing Will Wade and LSU? And is the only standard by which you will go to that degree if there's a wiretap transcript of a phone call? I mean, is that it? So if anybody was texting this or there's emails, I mean, Christian Dawkins had a ledger, a payment ledger. I mean, people forget this, but a year ago we found out that Jarrell Martin was on that payment ledger. I mean, have people forgotten about that? That doesn't mean that LSU paid Jarrell Martin, but funneling payments through Adidas, Jarrell Martin was on that ledger. Did Adidas give Jarrell Martin $50,000? Anyway, point is, yes, Dick Vitale was very defensive, and I think he came in unprepared to handle the specificity of the questions, and that caused him to that painted him in a corner, and his only way out was yell, fight, swing. Anyway, let's see. AJ Holland, what's your go-to biscuit when you visit the Walker Swifties on your way to Brock? Is the Walker Swifties, AJ, is that the one where, all right, if you're going 12 east, you exit to the right and it's on the right, the gas station right there? Because that is money, man. I mentioned that on the air the other day. That's a place that's, if people don't know about it, super underrated, man. They got some amazing breakfast options. You get anything on a biscuit, bacon or boudin or sausage or anything. My cousin used to live in that neighborhood right there. It was a new development when he bought in there. Actually built the house in there. It was smaller homes. I mean, like it was his first house, whatever. But you pass that gas station, and it's that neighborhood on the right. Anyway. Lawrence Burley, where's Drew? He's in there. Jude Miller, good morning. Let's see. Troy Chatinier. Measure fast. Do you want to measure fast? Okay, measure fast. Let's see. He's fired up. There's Drew, speaking of which. Okay. So Drew wants this episode to Hey, can you sing the Sesame Street song, Drew? Hey, Drew. Yeah. Measure. By the way, y'all. On Measure Fast. So the word of the day on this one is measure. And the celebrity who helps with the word of the day is none other than Drew Brees. It's pretty funny. Drew measures Elmo with a football and a potato and a tube of toothpaste. It's very interesting. Ooh, yeah. Let's see. Troy Shatner or Chatinier? Hope all is well with your son. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate that, man. Jacob Cormier. Jordy and T-Bob literally made my day putting on Dick Vitale yesterday. You know what? And I think I might have mentioned this yesterday on Morning Scone. I know I talked about it on AFR, and I know I tweeted it. But, you got to give Dick Vitale credit as well for this. He didn't have to do that interview. I'm sure he gets inundated with interview requests, and he could have passed. He could have said, I'm not doing it, and let his tweets stand alone, let all of us yell at the wind. He went on the show. He did not have to do that, and he did. So for that, he does deserve some kudos and credit for going on the show. He in no way was obligated to give 20 minutes of his day at 79 years old to the Baton Rouge radio show that's mad at him for his comments on LSU. He didn't have to do it, and he did. So kudos to him for that. Dusty Revere, have you seen TJ Finley, the quarterback from Ponchatoula? Do you see him growing into a starter? Interesting question. I have not. I mean, just highlights of him. From what I hear, very raw. And I think they're right to sign 2 quarterbacks because they've got Max Johnson out of Georgia committed as well. So could he be the starter? Hope so. If not, hi. Catherine. You can see Catherine today. He is fired up about seeing Catherine. Catherine is one of the students at Abilities. And Catherine. He's going to see Catherine today. He's fired up. Let's see. Age free. Dick needs a face slap just a little. Come on, yo. Carl Cat, what's up? Mark Chambers, Amy Crane, good morning. Justin Reyes, can Drew tell Tiki V to kick rocks? What's up, Lil C? Good morning. Don Jolibois, hey Cheryl, good morning. Brian Myers, Aaron Sanders. I didn't expect anything. Oh, come on. Todd Black, what's up, Todd? Terry Shipman, good morning. Tyler Hales, who wants to send Dickie V a box of cauliflower boudin. Y'all being brutal, man. But see, so just to a quick point, all of the reaction to the Dick Vitale interview from LSU fans, this is why he shouldn't. Like, if I were advising him, I would have advised him not to do that interview. And this is why. Because you have this beloved voice of college basketball that's been overwhelmingly popular for 4 decades. And, you know, it's PT peers and diaper dandies and awesome baby and all that stuff. And now he gets into the Twitter sphere where he starts ticking people off. And he's completely alienated this whole fan base that have a Alexanders that have changed their viewpoint on this man, who've probably grown up fans of his forever, right? So that's, and that interview didn't help. Like, the interview yesterday didn't change anybody's opinion on Dick Vitale. If anything, it solidified their opinion. It pushed them further away from him. So, anyway. Kirk Taylor, what's up, man? Charlie Cavell, your take on why the rash of injuries, particularly the LSU pitchers, the last few seasons. So, Charlie, I was thinking about today getting somebody on the show to talk about arm care. I'm going to explore that a little bit today to see who might be a good person to have on. I can certainly try to get Dr. Field from Brock, who's LSU's team doctor. 0-0. The tough part about that is I know he can't get into any specificity, right?
Car.
Mommy's car. Did we go for a ride in Mommy's car last night? We did go to Awabasan last night. We're in Alexander's too, yeah. Okay. So one of the things, though, that I think that I hear consistently, in particular with the freshmen, is what you're seeing is the result of overuse from high school and travel ball bleeding into a season where they're asked to pitch more often. So, you know, or a longer season, right? So, like, I don't know how you blame LSU's program, right, for injuries, kids that show up with injuries. Like, Easton McMurray showed up injured. You know, Jaden Hill pitched twice, and he's injured. Like, 2 outings? Like, that, it can't be attributable to anything that's happened at LSU. It was same with Marceau. And, like, see, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of freshmen that it's happening to. And I think in some instances you probably had some guys that were overworked in high school and travel ball, and you're seeing the effects of it. if it were veteran, like if it was a guy, like think about it, Eric Walker got injured in his freshman year. If it were a guy that had come through LSU and by year 2 or 3 you saw this steady decline, well then maybe you could say, okay, LSU's overworking these guys. But it's like, okay, like just strictly like objectively, right? Can we acknowledge that LSU operates out of an abundance of caution when guys have arm issues? Like Jaden Hill, they did an MRI on Jaden Hill, and they said structurally it's perfect. He's just got arm soreness. So it's like they're not throwing him at all. He hasn't thrown since week 2. So I think LSU is taking the appropriate actions when guys have any issue at all. It's hard for me to blame LSU for the issues with freshmen because they haven't had them for you're not even halfway through freshman year. What? Who else want to do that? What? It's so funny. Right? So anyway, I do want to explore that though. And I'm glad, Charlie, I'm glad you asked that question because if a lot of people are thinking about it, then I want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it on the show today. You know, maybe I'll get, I don't know, maybe get Dr. Field and a pitcher, you know, former pitcher on to kind of have a little bit of a round table. I mean, I don't know that we'll answer the question. Obviously, if they had an answer, they'd have the remedy now. But, yeah, I think that would be some interesting conversation anyway. Hi. High five? What? He loves it. And he runs away. Let's see. Kendall Nugent, Dickie V was so narcissistic it was unbearable. Okay, so everyone seems to be talking about like the fact that he mentioned he was in the Halls of Fame and stuff. He was providing context to his answer, and I just that didn't bother me. And him talking about the book didn't bother me at all either. I've done a million interviews, and there's many instances where I will tell people before they come on, hey, if there's anything you want to promote, feel free, just let me know so I can get prepped on it. I don't mind that at all. Like if someone's going to be kind enough to give me any of their time for free, and they want to promote a book or a product or a business or a charity or whatever, by all means. Ha 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 ha. Look at that smile this morning. My baby boy smiling this morning. Measure fresh. I love you. 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 And he was doing the book proceeds for cancer research. Like 100% of his take of the book was for cancer research. Like he's not taking $1. I think we're reaching if we're criticizing him for that. Good morning. Good morning. You're going to see Catherine today. Yep. You want to sit on Daddy's lap? Let's sit on Daddy's lap and do Dad's show. And you will see Catherine later. Yep, you will. Miss Sarah. You will see Miss Sarah and Catherine and Margaret and Aubrey at Abilities.
Michael.
What? Michael. You see Michael on Thursday. You will see Michael on Thursday.
Catherine.
And Catherine today. Clap hands, clap. Why is your belly wet? What?
Mommy car.
Mommy does have a car. Let's see. Clap hands, walking. Michael. You're fun. Interestingly, T-Bob sounded like an adult in the conversation. Dick and Jordy were yelling, and T-Bob was the voice of reason. So, it's interesting you mentioned that, Irfan. So, like, the first time in the interview that T-Bob actually spoke up was when Dick Vitale mentioned, talk to Pat Forty or Pete Thamel or Mark Schlabach, and then T-Bob came and said, well, actually, we did talk to Mark Schlabach, and he did it on a very even keel, and that's the point. That's like the tone that I'm talking about that I probably would have used. And you just take everything down to sound like that voice of reason, right? I think it disarms your guest, and if nothing else, illustrates the difference in the intensity where one seems level and the other seems super intense, right? For sure. Reed Sutton, Trivia Carter, good morning. Robert Barlow, good morning. Sean Pumphrey.
Robert.
T-Bob's impression of Dickie V. Now, that's true. the next segment, T-Bob came back and was doing did a Dickie V impression, and actually was pretty spot on. It was really impressive. The guys did great interviewing Vitale. Let me say this, that I forked over the pay-per-view fee to hear Condon get 10 minutes of airtime with him. That would be funny. Hey, bud, do we need to vent your belly? Okay, let's vent your belly. Hang on, we vent. Okay, hang on. See, bud. Look at that smiley boy. That smiley boy. Look at that smiley boy. Okay. Bella. He's gonna be here. He's take you to Disney. Miss Aubrey, Margaret, and Catherine. Okay. All better. All right. Kerry Hughes, what's up, dude? Daniel Brumley, by the way, I thought they handled it with class and respect. Dick was a blowhard. Just curious what route you would have taken with the interview. It's all good. I think you asked the question earlier that I answered. Ronnie Duga, what's up? In honor of Drew's 1-year celebration of Morning Scone, I'm donating to Texas Children's Hospital. Who wants to join me? That's cool. Thank you, Kerry. Appreciate that, man. Tomorrow, can you believe that? Tomorrow is episode 365. Every single day for one calendar year, tomorrow will be episode 365. Isn't that crazy? Every single day for a full year we've done this. Done the show from airports, from hotels, from the car, from Texas, from North Carolina, from SEC Media Days in Atlanta. From here. That's crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. In a year. I can't believe I've been doing this for a year. And shout out to Brock for sponsoring Morning Scone. And of course to the OG Morning Sconers. Shout out to our guys at Boudreaux's as well. For being the original sponsor, and for Brock for picking up, man. Awesome partnership. It is humbling whenever people decide they're going to spend any part of their time, because time is like the one resource that is invaluable, because once it's gone, you lose it forever. Like you can make more money, you can meet new friends, you know what I mean? Like time is the one thing you can never get more of. So when people like give their time to consume your content, if it's a radio show, if it's this, if it's a Locked On, I'm always humbled by that. Seriously, always humbled by that when people like listen or watch or anything like that. It amazes me. So anyway, so thank you. Thanks to everybody who's watched this for a year. Let's see. Shelby Kelly. Even with all the passion and yelling, I still thought this was the best work I've seen T-Bob and Jordy do. They were both awesome. T-Bob really impressed me. They did really well. There's no doubt. Daniel Crosser, morning from Birmingham. Love the Dickie V interview. It's everywhere in the media. I haven't seen a positive comment about him. He's a hypocrite and it's oblivious to him, which is why, in part, I would have advised him not to do the interview. It didn't play well. You know what I mean? That's the point I'll keep making. Like, I don't know that anybody is advising him, but someone should have and said this probably isn't a good idea. Mark Landry Everett email. It's great for our station. It's great for OTB. I mean, as a whole, the awareness of the station just continue, and the credibility of the station continues to elevate, which is awesome. Even outside of just Baton Rouge. Measure fast. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll get you measure fast. Uh-oh. Are you sitting on the floor? What are you doing down there? Okay, let's get measure fast. You want measure fast? Okay. Measure fast is over. Okay, Drew. Here comes Measure Fast. He literally just wants to watch the episode of Sesame Street on Fast Forward. All right. Another reminder about Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. 5 convenient locations, 33 board certified and fellowship trained physicians in every subspecialty. Remember, they are open after hours. They have the weekend clinic that can handle your MRI and your X-ray in-house. They do it all, including physical therapy. Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, their primary location inside the Surgical Specialty Center. Nathan DeMoss, best crawfish around Lafayette or best seafood place, period. Good question. Someone else answer that. I don't know where to get crawfish in Lafayette. I've never lived in Lafayette, so I can't really help you there. Sorry, dude. But someone can answer that for sure. Jerry DeLucky, Charles Moranto. What's up, Shelby? I feel like an Elmo expert because of Drew. Food is good there. Fuel prices better on the north side of the interstate. I got you. Down in Walker. Lori Prophet, what's up? Sean, I respected Dick Vitale for taking the interview. For sure. You should. So Robbie Compton said, I love Dick's humility. Surprised he didn't talk more about himself. He loves him some him. I didn't mind him providing the context and his argument for things like with Pitino or the fact that they're friends. Now, that's a bogus argument. The fact that Rick Pitino told you that he didn't do anything wrong when clearly the university investigated and knew more than that, and there was a lot of very inappropriate behavior within his program. And if you want to pretend like the head coach doesn't know that his assistants are setting up, an escort service for recruits and organizing $100,000 payment for Brian Bowen, it's just not plausible. It's just not. So, but that's why his argument had so many holes in it. Hey, Aunt Sharon, good morning. Let's see. Aunt Mary, this is my Aunt Mary. I love Dick V. Nothing better than hearing him announce a Duke basketball game in Cambridge. So, for context, that's my Aunt Mary, and her daughter, Dana, my cousin, played for Duke's women's team. So, Aunt Mary, Dick Vitale has been crushing LSU with the Will Wade stuff, and people here are calling him hypocritical. They live in Arkansas, by the way, because he's not come down with the same heavy hand on other programs involved in the same scandal. And so LSU people are like, hey, man, why are you crushing us and not everybody else? So he came on the morning show on our station yesterday, and he's kind of getting drilled for it. He was very, very... It was a very contentious interview, which is hard to imagine with Dick Vitale, but it was. iPad. I don't know where that went. Inside. iPad. Scott, did you try to get Dickie V on AFR? Was it past his bedtime? I did not. I did not reach out to Dick Vitale to get him on AFR. Jordy was peppering him, and I was like, well, I'm not going to intervene. And like I tell you, for me, I wouldn't have gone that route of tweeting at him. I would have gone directly to ESPN's. Like, ESPN has people that handle their media relations. So, like, they have an NBA person, a college football person, like an SEC network person. So all requests to get talent on the air go through them, although a lot of times those people just run interference. Like, talent, like the on-air people, the on-air talent, it's short for, the on-air talent. It's sort of an industry term. If the talent can agree to do an interview on their own. So, like, a lot of guys that I get on the show, I built relationships with. So I could shoot them a text and be like, hey, can you come on today at whatever time? For other guests, you'd go through ESPN's protocol. What? Drew come. Yay. Which is probably what I would have done. Because inside. Oh, woodles. 5, 4. Moo. Oh, my boy. Oh, my boy. Oh, my boy. Oh my boy. Oh my boy. Oh my boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. My little boy. I love you.
Catherine.
You are gonna see Catherine today, aren't you? My boy. My boy. I'm a. You grabbed my neck. Oh man. Let's see, Matthew. Great segment with Cartwright yesterday. Love his take on where the team is and his raw opinion. He does. He's. Cartwright's really good. And he's getting better. Ow. Better stop grabbing my face. Better stop grabbing my face, little boy. Stop grabbing my face, little boy. Let's see. Drew come.
Yeah.
Yay.
Moo.
Moo. Are you going somewhere? You sit on Daddy's lap.
Moo.
You sit on Daddy's lap and do some morning scone? Corey Gotro, what's up? Charlie, thanks for that. Ask all the former Tiger pitchers watching this. So that's true. Yeah, that's true. What? What? Could ask Joey Painich on here. I haven't seen Joey pop on this morning, but I could ask him for sure. That's the guy who pitched in the 90s. He could probably tell you about the disparity and how arms were used then and now. What? Clap hands, clap hands, boom up, Okay. Let's see. Robert Williams, what's up? The funniest comment from T-Bob, I think Schleyball's pretty intelligent. Over 50 times. If you didn't hear AFR yesterday, we did talk about the Dick Vitale interview, and Brian Haldane, Brain, mentioned in passing, like, think about all the times that they said Dick in the interview, his name, and I was like, can you do a montage just of Jordy every time he said, and Brian was like, I mean, yeah, but I was like, okay, that is your job. I was like, I will not talk to you on air for 2 hours. Just have that ready at 5:15. And so he spent like 2 hours, the first 2 hours of the show, combing through the interview, grabbing every time Jordy said Dick, and like putting it into a montage. It ended up being 51 times. It was hilarious. Oh man. Come on, Dick. And then the random.
Go find my kid.
Go to Fresh Market. Well, you better ask Mimi that.
Inside.
Inside. Albertsons. Zizi, you've never even been to Zizi's house. You've been to Roro's house, yes. You've been to Albertsons too, yes. And Alexander's, yes. Okay, we'll see you later. Let's see. Matthew Shelley, I'll come on and talk shoulder, arm injuries. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. Let's see. Morning Scone has been awesome since it always catch AFR. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate that. Sam, I do have to hear you state in case. I believe Dickie V runs interference for his coaching buddies. Just my take, though. There's no question he has a bias toward his friend. There's just no question, and I think it's natural. But his inability to acknowledge that is frustrating. Best part of the show is interaction between everyone. Love hearing different points of view and discussing. Thank you, Shelby. Appreciate that, man. Thanks to everybody. Mo Hubble, what's up? Robert, happy 1 year. Thanks for doing the show. Don't always get to catch the afternoon show. Many times you're my LSU sports fix. And Drew's an awesome kid. Thank you, Rob. Catherine! Are you going to see Catherine today? Yep. Let's see. Alvino, is AFR the flagship show for 1045? I don't know what you mean by flagship show. I don't want to talk about differentiators. I'm not comfortable doing that. We've had a lot of success. Yes, we're the oldest show. We were the first show. Afternoon Drive is a premier slot. Yes, I mean all that stuff is true. You know what I mean? But I think everybody does an awesome job, and I think all shows have all of our local shows now. Hester, of course, being the fourth. Every one of our local shows, I think, does a really good job at being different. Like every show has a different sound and feel and tone and texture to it, and I think that's something that everybody does well. That we're talking about generally the same topics, but we all of the shows have a very different feel. I know in Gonzales, Cajun Catch Seafood in Delhi, best boiled seafood. There you go. Joe Jubal, what's up, Joe? Monica Intelligence. I think. Oh yeah, Joey DiStefano, what's up? How about that? Joe Juba, Sports Radio in Dallas, was talking about OTB in the interview yesterday. How about that? It's been all over, man. And good for them for recognizing that was an interview that was going to take off, like that was going to get a lot of traction. They did their due diligence. They did their prep, and they handled it well. Todd, need to stop calling it an interview. It was a rant by Dick, who wouldn't shut up and hear any questions. It was entertaining, but hard to listen to at the same time. I will give you that, Todd. It's one of the things that I don't like confrontational radio in the sense I don't like yelling, like people yelling over each other. That's just not my taste. So I tend to avoid that. Like whenever, I certainly won't do that with a guest. If a caller ever gets into that, I don't let them yell at me. And the difference is with a guest, a guest has been invited onto your show. A caller is basically like a cold call, like someone knocking. It's the difference between someone being an invited guest at your house and someone just knocking on your door and walking in and being rude to you. But again, that's just different. It's like some shows thrive on that. Like Feinbaum thrives on the confrontation. Stephen A. Smith thrives on yelling and confrontation. And it works. Like those are super successful people. It's not to say it doesn't work. It's just to illustrate there are different styles, different ways of doing things. I think my news radio days soured me on that because working in news radio, that was sort of the basis of how things were done. If it was Rush and Hannity and Michael Savage and all of those shows, that was the basis of what they did. I'm not talking politics. I don't care where you fall politically. I'm just saying like the most successful shows, news talk shows, the ones that like I was part of when I was producing and everything, that was what they thrived on. And I grew so disinterested in that. It was stressful and not fun and confrontational. I didn't like it. So that's not the type of show I want to do. That's my only point. Anthony, what's up, dude? Stephen Bro, it goes to show how big this situation is that we're talking 95% this morning about the interview over baseball, which has a game tonight, basketball, football. True. Let's see. Anthony, yo, buddy, you want one of those decanters? Yeah, message me. Let me know what's up. Like, what's the, what's the deal with all of it? Give me some of the specs, if you would. Thank you. Maybe give one to Hester, too, since it had 18 on it. Let's see. Troy. I still don't understand why Hess was a starter. I understand last year for this bring so, but if you have enough potential now, then why not put him back as a closer and save his arm? Troy, you can't be serious. Like, you can't be serious. Like, do you realize... Okay. Do you realize you just went on the road to a top 10 team and Zach Hess against a team that collectively was hitting 296, top 5 in the SEC. Zach Hess went 8 innings, struck out 9, didn't walk anybody, didn't allow a run. And you want to take him out of the starting rotation? You would take him off of the Friday night rule? You want him to pitch less? You only want him to go into the game when you have a lead in the ninth? That's the only time you ever want him to pitch? Like, I would rather that guy give me 8 innings and give me a chance to win as opposed to pitching 1 inning at the end of the game. That's not hard, man. Like, this conversation is over. He's your Friday night guy, and you should be thrilled that you have him because he gives you a chance to win every Friday night. And then on top of that, you've got Henry as your Saturday guy, and Walker's still obviously coming along on Sunday, and you're waiting on Jaden Hill to come back healthy and Landon Marceau to get his arm right. Right? I mean, that don't make no sense, man. Troy, I'm trying not to blow a gasket on that one. That's tough, man. Andrew Bristow, I'm going to listen to hour 3 now. Andrew, go to, it was at like 5:30. It was like halfway through hour 3 when we played the montage. John Malonzo, 1 year mark tomorrow. Yep, talked about it a little while ago. Let's see. Brian Nichols. Hey, Trisha Brown. Good morning. I just joined it. I missed the discussion on arm injuries because I think it's an epidemic at LSU and something needs to change. So, Brian, we talked about it a little bit. Brief comment on it. I'm gonna try. I did. I'm gonna try to get him. I'm gonna try to get someone on the show today to talk more about that. So, a couple things. Number one, it's hard to say that it's an epidemic at LSU because you do see this all over. Number two, it's hard for me to blame anything at LSU for the freshmen. Like, take Jaden Hill, for example. Jaden Hill threw 2 games. Like, how could you possibly overwork a guy in 2 games? I can't blame. Same with Landon Marceau. He's a freshman. Like, you're not a month into he was on the shelf. You were 2 weeks into the season, a month into the season. Easton McMurray showed up with an arm injury. A.J. Labus showed up with arm injuries. Injured as a freshman. It's like when these guys are injured as freshmen, that tells me more they were overworked in high school and travel ball. And that's not just a guess. Like, that's a lot of conversations I've had with people, both on and off the record, trying to cobble together what's going on with all this. If there were a guy, and what I explained earlier is if there was a pitcher who came in strong, think about Eric Walker. I mean, that happened during his freshman year. Like, if there were a guy that came in and was like super strong as a freshman, and then he just continued to like degress, right? Or regress or devolve. Like, then you could say, all right, they just overrunning this guy into the ground. It's different when you have a guy that shows up on campus and you're just going through a season, and in his first season, his arm is going out on him, or he's sore all the time. Like, that says there was something pre-existing. We'll delve deeper into it. I mean, I get it. It sucks. It's a concern, all that stuff. But again, I would be more concerned about the guy who showed up as a freshman, was super strong, and you saw his velocity dip throughout his career. Caleb Gilbert could be an example of that. So Caleb Gilbert showed up and, was throwing mid-90s, and then as his career went on, he got less accurate. Last year, obviously, he pitched all of last year with a shoulder problem, and then he had the shoulder surgery, and he's still not back from it yet. Now, is that just because he's at the point in his career like Cartwright was, where he had just thrown so many innings and that was all his arm had physically? Maybe. Was he overworked at LSU? Maybe. Don't know. Like, that's worth exploring. But the guys that show up on campus and 2 weeks, a month into your freshman year, you're on the shelf with the arm sore, and it's like, how can that be anything? This season's not a month old. You know what I mean? Like, anyway. Get a few more in here. Hey, Shelly Molossaw, good morning. Richie Burt, yesterday's AFR was good. Thank you, Richie. Appreciate that, man. Conan would have ended up calling him a jackass, probably. Erica, what's up? But Matt, they've been with the team all fall and spring. They didn't show up latest last watch. But again, all of those guys showed up with some type of issue, and you don't just devolve again. And like, think about it, how many guys that didn't pitch this in fall ball this year out of an abundance of caution? Like, they had like 8 pitchers that didn't pick up a baseball in the fall. So like, that's hard for me to look at that and say that issue is because of that, right? Troy, after listening to your comments, you're right, I'm wrong. Sorry for the ignorant comment. Troy, it's all good. Troy, you just got me triggered on the one thing. Like, I've been on the Hess bandwagon for Friday night, like fending off that counter argument for a long time. Like, the thing, and here's the analogy that I go to a lot. So some of you have heard this before. Zach Hess at the next level is not going to be a starter. Zach Hess is going to be a back of the bullpen guy. He will pitch in Major League Baseball as a back end of the bullpen guy. I don't think there's any question. That's going to be his future. But think of college baseball like high school football, where sometimes coaches will take their best athlete and put him at quarterback because they want their best athlete to have the ball in their hand every play because they have a chance to make more plays. That's like college baseball with pitchers. You want your best arm at the front of your rotation. And Zach Hess is your best arm. I mean, he sits 95, 96. He's got a wipeout slider. He can throw his breaking ball for a strike. I mean, he commands 3 pitches, and when he does, he's unhittable. Like, he is your best arm. And you want that guy throwing 8 innings and giving you a chance to win on Friday as opposed to 1 inning if your team has a lead and can give him the ball in the end of the game, right? When he was a freshman, you had the luxury of using him in the bullpen because you had Alex Lang and you had Jared Poche, and then Eric Walker emerged as your number 3. And then you had a guy like Caleb Gilbert, who was your number 4, who pitched well in Omaha that year, obviously. So you had the luxury of telling Hess, hey, look, you don't have a spot in the rotation right now, but you throw a 98. Let's put you at the back of the bullpen and see if you can give us an inning. Go strike some guys out. And he did, and it was great, and that's probably his future. But when you lose Lang and Poche and Gilbert goes on the shelf with injury and Walker's out, you lost your whole rotation last year. Lang and Poche left, and then Walker was injured, so you had nobody. Like, you needed to build a whole new rotation. So, I mean, he ended up having Mikhail Hilliard become your second most reliable starter. You had to have him there. And he showed you for the bulk of last season that he could be a Friday night guy, although people tend to ignore that. But anyway. All right, last one. Steven, any good news coming out of spring football? Joe Brady, can we talk about receivers yet? No. Eddie Veal, any update on football scrimmages? Talked about it yesterday on AFR and on the Locked On LSU podcast. They're going fast offensively, and they're letting Joe Brady tinker and install all his new stuff, which is exciting to see. All right, y'all, we're going to bounce. Shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. They are tagged in this post. If you would like the Brock page, that would be a huge, huge help. Also, if you would share this video, that would be a huge help as all. Also, we appreciate you as always for watching. Tomorrow, 1 year anniversary of Morning Scone. How about that? We appreciate y'all. Have an awesome day. Locked On LSU podcast today, Riot podcast, AFR. Ton we're going to get to. We'll see you then. Later.